Imagine parking your car to go shopping only to return to find a swarm of bees have taken over upon your return. It's exactly what happened to a man in New Mexico, and luckily just the right person showed up to take care of the problem. ABC's Marcus Moore has this story.
A buzzy situation in New Mexico.
Do you have anybody on call?
15,000 bees swarming one man's car in a supermarket parking lot while he was shopping. The man driving away before even noticing they were inside. Firefighters responding to the scene but didn't know what to do. Working the scene for 2 hours, calling in an expert to help. Jesse Johnson, a firefighter who was off duty, who, as luck would have it, happens to be an avid beekeeper.
So I said, okay, I'll come get it for you guys. That way we can free up the crew and get this guy home.
Johnson, dressed in protective gear, taking a portable bee yard out of his vehicle and using lemongrass oil to remove the wayward pollinators.
The spring is the most common time for bees to swarm. Bees are very docile when they're swarming. What they're doing is they're splitting a colony.
Johnson removing the bees in just 5 minutes, taking them to his backyard bee farm where he plans to take care of them.
It is important because all types of pollinators are having issues. It's vital that we have these insects to just continue pollination.
Our thanks to Marcus. And now to the latest on a story that we first brought you at the end of last year regarding the arrest and imprisonment of Matthew Rushin. Rushin, who has autism, received a conditional pardon after his involvement in 2 car crashes, one of which left a man disabled. His family claims that he was having an emotional episode at the time of the accidents, and his mother pleaded that her son's condition be considered as part of his case. As of this week, Matthew is officially a free man, and he and his mother, Laverne, join us now. Thank you so much for being here and talking with us tonight. Matthew, the obvious question, how does it feel to be back home again?
It feels amazing. I'm glad that all that is now behind me and we can focus on the more important things at hand.
And Laverne, how do you feel to have your son back home? And have you noticed any change in your son since his return?
I'm actually, overjoyed that he's home. Changes, he eats more vegetables now, and he's eating a lot more. I made macaroni and cheese and salmon for him as a first home cooked meal. So yeah, that was a change that I saw. More vegetables.
But healthy?
Healthy, yes. Obviously he still has a cyst on his pituitary gland that we have to take care of. But health-wise, he's good. Obviously with the mental health care, he is going to need a lot of that, and in the future.
And Matthew, of course, you're back home with mom and sister. Tell us about some of the first things that you did. Of course, the first meal you ate, mom just said, was that salmon and mac and cheese. What were you looking most forward to about being back at home?
Taking a shower without my shoes on. That's what I've been telling everybody, and it's true. It's just being able to be comfortable.
And you said you were looking forward to focusing now on the important things. What's next? What are you planning on focusing on now?
Well, of course, I'm going back to school, and I decided to take up speech therapy for special education. Growing up, I had a really bad stutter. I stutter every now and again now, but I've also started to realize, I realized while being locked up that there were guys in there who had autism, didn't know that they were autistic and didn't know how to interact with people. And so I want to work with kids who are autistic or have Down syndrome or are deaf, mute, have any sort of speech disorder or anything of that manner, and help them to become more sociable amongst their peers.
And Laverne, as I mentioned earlier, Matthew's pardon is conditional and his release comes with very specific guidelines. What are some of those guidelines?
So obviously he cannot contact the families anymore. He cannot drive for the rest of his life unless 10 years from now he, goes back to court, goes back in front of a judge to have that reinstated. No firearms, and actually the other part of that is he has to have the mental health treatment, which he was already having, but I think that more focuses on his ability to move forward in life.
And Laverne, you also really led a social media charge to get your son released. What would you like to say to some of your advocates, including Culture City?
I would like to say thank you so much. The Innocence Project, Jason Pham, Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, Jamie Lee Curtis, and everyone who has stepped up. I'm beyond words of gratitude. I can't even begin to tell you how I appreciate them supporting us from the very beginning. I was not going to let Matthew become a statistic, and I voiced that from the very beginning, and they allowed me to take my fight to social media.
And lastly, Matthew, were you aware of all of Mom's efforts in order to make sure that you were able to get back home?
Well, for the most part, there were certain things that, due to the recorded phone calls, she couldn't tell me. But since I've been home, I've been reading up on all the stories and all her posts and everyone else's posts, and now I'm starting to understand the entire magnitude of what she was doing while I was locked up.
And it all worked out in the end. Matthew and Laverne Rushin, we thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you talking with us tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.